This video is sponsored by PokemonStore.com, the best place to get yourself some TCGO code cards. Are you looking for that last card to complete your deck, or you want to start your adventure and you don't have any TCGO codes? This is the website to start. You can go to PokemonStore.com and use the coupon code ZapdosTCG for 5% off your next order. And they have a huge variety of codes up on their website, ranging from the latest booster packs like Battle Styles. They have Dragapult codes, Eternatus codes, Zacian codes, you name it. Be sure to check it out on PokemonStore.com. Also, this video is sponsored by CardMarket.com, the best place for European players to buy and sell cards to people all across Europe. I personally use it every day to get rid of my bulk, and you can buy some sweet deals from people all across Europe. I love the website. Be sure to check out the affiliate link in the description. You're going to be helping me out. And without further ado, let's just get this video started. I'm hyped. Hopefully you guys are hyped as well. Peace! What's up YouTube, it's ZapdosTCG here and welcome back to another TCG video on my channel. On this channel you get daily Pokemon TCG content, so be sure you are subscribed so you don't ever miss out. Today I will give you the top 10 best decks to play to qualify for Players Cup 4. So the qualification rounds have already started. Hopefully you got yourself your 50 tournament keys, not 100 because that's a glitch. So you have 50 keys and you have to get into the top 256 or 128 if you're from Oceania. To actually be the best in your region. So you have to play those tournament tickets. For every win you actually get 5 points. For if you get second you get 3 points, third and fourth is 1 point, and if you lose in the first round you get 0 points. We're going to be playing some of these tournament keys very shortly so I can give you a full understanding on how this specific thing works. But for now I'm actually going to give you the top 10 best decks to focus on. Either want to know the meta game that is currently going on from Team Up all the way to Battle Styles, or you want to pick one of these decks. They are very well crafted. These are from master players, got from Limitless, Play.LimitlessTCG.com, the website. These are the lists that are doing very well. So we also have some honorable mentions. We have Dragapult VMAX, either with a greens list or with Jirachi. They do perform pretty okay, but they have fallen out of favor a little bit. What else on the honorable mentions? Lapras VMAX sometimes shows up. I probably wouldn't play that because it has some consistency issues, and PikaRom also is still very good. We also have Centiskorch VMAX. There are better Welder decks out there. Think about Blacephalon. Think about Victini VMAX. So it has fallen out of favor a little bit. And then we also have one more VMAX. That's Orbital VMAX, seeing some increase in play, but hasn't reached the tournament success just yet. So without further ado, let's just get into this top 10. We got the honorable mentions out of the way, and let's just get it started with number 10 here, Decidueye. Decidueye has, of course, the Deep Forest Camo ability, making sure it is not being able to get slapped by VMAX, V, and GX Pokemon. So that's going to be awesome. If the opponent doesn't have one prizers in their list, they're actually going to be in a very, very soft spot. They're not going to be able to touch your Decidueye and you're going to be winning matches. So let's say a PikaRom list, for example, the only way they can hit you is with stuff like their Tapu Koko Prism Star, and that's only a one-off. If it goes to the discard pile, they cannot get it back. So Decidueye has some great matchups also against ADP if they do not have their Aegislash into their list, which most of them won't because, yeah, what are the chances you're up against Decidueye, right? So that's how good Decidueye is. You can auto-win specific matchups. Same goes for Eternatus, so this is well placed in the meta. Sometimes you are just unlucky facing off against Blacephalon, facing off against Mad Party, sometimes even Spiritomb, which probably is also an honorable mention, but hasn't seen too much tournament success as of late. But yeah, this is the number 10 spot for me. You have Lily's Pokédolls, you have the Mellowana, so it's the tackle engine in here. You can just safely hide behind the Snorlax with Gormandize until you're ready to evolve your Decidueyes. We have left alone, Obstagoon. Push it down the side, and this is Lone Decidueye, doing very well in today's meta. We have the Big Charms, we have the Weak Guard energy, so even if you are up against something like a Volcanion and some sort of a fire deck, you can still have an answer, get that Weak Guard energy equipped, get that Big Charm so you're very tanky. You can Mellow and Lana your Decidueyes and then pivot with a Lily's Pokédoll, so that's awesome. You can get back your Lily's Pokédolls with Cynthia Catlin, so a lot of great things to love about this list, and as soon as one of your Pokemon goes down, whether it's a Snorlax or a little Rowlet, you can resort to Rosa, which automatically gets you Candy, Decidueye, and of course an item card of choice. So if you already have Candy in hand, that is. So otherwise you just like basic energy, rare Candy, Decidueye. That's what Rosa is here for, but also can grab yourself maybe a Lily's Pokédoll, maybe an ordinary Rod, whatever you might need. So very solid list. If you like Decidueye, if you like to hide behind a very powerful ability, this is the deck for you. Moving forward is going to be number 9. Here we go, Victini VMAX. It has dropped all the way to number 9, so I can't believe Like at the early phase of battle styles, early couple of weeks, we thought it's gonna be the best deck in the format. Everybody's gonna be playing it. Whenever if you're up against Victini VMAX, you're gonna be saying, oh, they're gusting up my V Pokemon before it's able to evolve. Well, nothing more is true. There's a lot of tag teams still around, and those are very horrible matchups. Also, Mad Party seeing a very crazy uptick in play means that this deck has been falling down to the number 9 position. Still a very great deck. You want to be seeing those Eternatus. You want to be seeing those Rapid Strike Urshifus before they evolve. You always want to go first with this list. And for Players Cup 4, that might be a hassle because sometimes opponent will allow you to go second. I know you still have that Reshizard. You know you have that Heatran and a little Mewtwo package in here as well. So that Mewtwo is very great against opposing Mewtwo's. We'll see a lot of Mewtwo's up on this list as well. So Mewtwo's still very good, so that's why it's in here. Although the Mewtwo list do have their Jirachi, and something I do love about Players Cup 4 is that it is going to be, without an open deck list, so you can get your surprise decks thrown into your list. So that's something good. For instance, this Incineroar, they might see it coming when it's an open deck list tournament. In this case, it's Players Cup 4 qualification round, so they will not see it coming. So I do love these decks. Sometimes you have a Mewtwo, they slap into you. You go for the crazy Darkest Tornado Jax, get some KOs. Victini is very great. If you go first, you can attach and then gust up the opponent's Pokemon before it's able to evolve. Very great against evolving V decks for sure. So still very solid deck on the number 9 position. Love the fan of ways to slow down archetypes. A lot of special energies still in the format. And you also have that high amount of gust in combination with like Reset Stamp. So Reset Stamp, very powerful. I think it's probably mandatory in a Victini list because you're very strong in the early game, but if the opponent somehow like gets the upper hand, you can just stamp them down to a low hand size. So love this list. We also have the Volcanion in here. Sometimes you can dunk Rowlets with it, but it doesn't happen too often. But yeah, that seems to be one of your horrible matchups for sure, Decidueye. Moving forward, number 8 is going to be this is Mewtwo variants, and we have Mewtwo Welder. This doesn't look very not a lot of difference to Victini. Instead, this is Mewtwo Welder, and we're gonna have 3 Mewtwo's up on the menu. Choose the one you prefer most. This is the Welder build without Aurora energies, so pure fire stuff going around. You have your Heatran, you have your Reshizard, you have the Flareon GX that you can copy. You have the Perfection ability, so you're able to copy all the moves of your GX Pokemon in the discard pile or in play. And of course, this runs Boss Zora's Great Catcher. The thing you want to have first of all is going to be Welder with a high amount of Stellaris Jirachi, with the Dynajax, with a Crobat. You probably find your Welder, and there's 4 Giant Heart in here just to overlap those pesky Power Plants, which shut down the Mewtwo ability. If you are scared of like Mimikyu for something like that, you can just get yourself a Stealthy Hood thrown in here as well. For now, there's Big Charms in here, so you're a little bit more tankier, which does help out against stuff like Eternatus. Other Mewtwo variants is going to be the Grass variant, also doing well. It's also, I've grouped them together here in the number 8 spot. So if you want to see how many energies are in here, it is actually 9. So 9 Grass energies. If you want to be screenshotting that is the perfect frame for you. So what else can we say about this list? We have the Bosmosa, very nice against Mad Party. You can sometimes get 2 Sinistys simultaneously, like poof poof, you win the game. That happens sometimes. You have, of course, Beast Game Jax taking an additional prize card, and the thing you want to do most is go second with this list. Get your Tackle, Heavy Tackle, 4 copies of that in here. Go for Goose Hala, and with Goose Hala, you can find yourself Air Balloon, you can find yourself Capture Energy, and that's going to be allowing you to get your Grookey into play and then evolve into it. So you can retreat into your, of course, your Rowlet, so or Alolan Exeggutor. Maybe you use it with Mewtwo if you can get that in the discard pile. Depends on which matchup, because this list is also weak against fire. So if you're whiffing out on fire, you're going to be having an awesome time, although you can still attack with Mewtwo anyhow. So if you're seeing fire, hopefully you don't start with Raw Axe, and it should be good. So Goose Hala also allows you to get a Stadium. Swell is nice, but Wanderer's Labyrinth is also great in specific scenarios. If the opponent doesn't find their counter Stadium, for instance, against stuff like ADP, you can slow them down before they're able to use Alter Creation, which is very, very huge. You also have, of course, if you go second, get your first turn Rillaboom off, and then you accelerate energies with the Voltage Beat. You have great attackers. You have Vileplume 180. If you get hit, you can go for Incineroar. If you still have energies on, you can slap 270 with that Dragonite. So Grass Mewtwo, also good. And then the last Mewtwo that is seeing a huge increase in play is going to be Galaxy Mewtwo, or Psychic Mewtwo, whatever you want to call it. This is just slowly manually attachment onto your Mewtwo, go for Horror House GX, opponent's not able to play down anything. Maybe you go for Star Search instead. There's a couple of ways you can go about this. I do love Horror House. Sometimes you can donk people with it, which is something I do love. But most importantly, you probably will go attach of turn, Star Search, get an energy. You can get an Aurora G or a Horror Psychic energy depending on what you want. Attach to your Mewtwo, and then following turn you attach and go for like Night Watch with Marnie, Reset Stamp, Night Watch. You can go for Darkest Tornado GX. You can spit some damage across with Garchomp Giratina with a linear attack. You can Calamitous Slash for even more damage. There's Double Blaze GX by your side if you can get enough Aurora energies onto yourself. Sometimes you start with an Aurora energy, attach of turn, Star Search, another Aurora energy, you find yourself Research, Zidane, bam, out of nowhere. You can use Double Blaze GX. There's a lot of great things about this specific list. Lots of crazy archetypes, and I think also Azul GG won the Glimwood tournament with this, so that is also interesting. Has been seeing a huge increased play, this Mewtwo Galaxy build. And I wonder if we're gonna see some more success with it. Personally, I'm a bigger fan of the Rillaboom Mewtwo variant. Maybe it's just meta dependent, it all depends on what you're up against, but Mewtwo solidly on the number 8 spot with 3 variants. Choose the one you prefer most. And I also love the Latios here with Clear Vision. Sometimes you can shut down Alter Creation, but more importantly, Tag Purge will help a lot against those mirror matches, so Mewtwo is not able to touch you at all. And with 2 Jirachi, you also get rid of your weakness instantly, your Psychic weakness, which is awesome, unless they have Power Plant, or to prevent Power Plant to come in play, we have 2 Swells in here, so that's pretty damn awesome. Then number 7 is going to be Mat Party. Mat Party is good, note it down, it's not going anywhere. You have lots of options with this list. The great thing about this list is that you have crazy matchups against the fire stuff. You want to be seeing fire stuff all around, whether it's Mewtwo Welder, whether it is Victini VMAX, Blacephalon. You want to be seeing fire stuff, which is good with this. Also, Decidueye is something you have a great matchup against. I know sometimes against Etern, you have some troubles because they are a huge threat. They have 340 HP, you cannot one-hit KO them. They also have Power Plants by them side, and they can also stamp you to a low hand size. So crazy things going around. You don't want to see everything. Also, you never want to be seeing Dragapult VMAX, that's for sure. So if you're whiffing out on that, that's good. Also, ADP is a difficult matchup. Against ADP, I suggest going second so you can get that Mat Party attack instantly onto an ADP already. You have Escape Rope to make that happen. You have Great Catcher to make that happen. This list has a great thing going for it. Although the Rapid Strike Urshifu matchup is, I would think, favorable. Thanks to statistics on Dino Data, it doesn't seem that preferable. So maybe adding in a second copy of Mew is not a bad idea. You can swap that for Ordinary Rod, although managing your resources is very important with this list. You only have 7 energies. You could also think about adding in a 4th copy of Triple Acceleration, so you have a little bit more carefree process when you're using that exchange. So very great things. You can go for Giovanni's Exile to get rid of your 2 prizers. Very, very important against ADP, but against other matchups that maybe use Spit Shot or whatever, you also can get rid of the Dane or your Crobat, so you're only having 1 prizers on the field, which is this is a very interesting list. If you love 1 prizers, it's probably one of the better, if not the best 1 prizer archetype out there. Your main attacker is a 1 prizer, that's what I'm saying. Moving forward, number 6 is Etern. Here we have Etern. As mentioned, the Power Plants are here. So Power Plant and paired with a Marnie can cripple stuff like the aforementioned Mat Party. You also have the Galarian Zigzag Pinks, which shut down a Sinistea instantly. Have a huge HP, so this list has crazy things going for it. You also have a favorable matchup against most tag teams out there just because of the fact you stop 270, and that's for only 2 energies. Yeah, I know you're a little bit weak for Crushing Hammer, so that's why we have also Crushing Hammer by our side. You can use Crushing Hammer, put the opponent a turn back, for instance, something like a PikaRom, something like an ADP, putting a turn back so you are the first attacker in the match, so you can slap Dread Ant, slapping 270, getting the KOs on Mewtwo's ADPs thanks to the help of Galarian Zigzagoon. You can knock out other tag teams, for instance, LucMetal. LucMetal is an interesting matchup because we do have that Phoebe. It's only 1 copy of Phoebe. If you are scared of LucMetal, like typically they slap down 2 Zamazantas and you have some troubles. I know like Yveltal can slap a little bit of damage, but with of course Metal Goggles and that Full Metal Wall, it's going to be difficult. So adding in a Phoebe and maybe a Palpat or a Cynthia Catlin to get back that Phoebe can swing that matchup in your favor. So maybe you can cut one of these hammers for something like a Cynthia Catlin, which is by itself also a draw supporter. So nothing too bad about this. Hammer is very great against ADP if you can get rid of some energies. Power Plant, very powerful against all the Welder decks out there. Power Plant and Marnie is very, very crucial for those matchups. And you have 3 copies of balls to gust down on the Pokemon you want. Let's say second turn, gusting up a Mewtwo, gusting up a Charizard, a Reshiram tag team. It's not going to be an issue whatsoever. 270 and can come even higher with the Headbutt Tantrums of Zigzagoon. This is a very solid list. Why is Yveltal a high copy of that in here? This is the way Eternatus has been playing for the last couple of weeks, and that's just because you have free retreat. If you go second, it's going to be good, so you can go for Power Accelerator. If you go first, you can get that first turn attachment in. So as long as you whiff, actually dodge Rapid Strike Urshifu, you're going to be fine with a list like this. You also have your weak guards, sometimes can be a clutch against that matchup, but they do have Giratina and they get rid of it, so only 2 copies. Sometimes it can get yourself that W when you least expect it, but I wouldn't count on it. It's a difficult matchup. Every deck has its difficult matchups. Then on the 5th spot, like in the middle, stuck in the middle is Baby Blacephalon, aka Crescephalon, aka Temposart, aka the clown that shows no signs of slowing down anytime soon. This is an upgraded list. We cut down on a Cramorant in this list, and there's an Heatran in here. Heatran is nice against a certain archetypes. If you like Welder onto like Jirachi, which sometimes happens, you can at least get those energies onto your Heatran and attack with it. So that's something I love. Definitely in best of 1 format, single elimination in these tournaments, you want to have a variety of attackers. You have Heatran, Hot Burn GX, or the Steaming Stomp. You have Rashizard, 2 copies of that, because Rashizard on its own can sometimes win matches. Like how many times have you like welded onto Charizard, you double blazed, you got a KO, you attach, you boss something, and it's gonna be huge times going around with Charizard, because not only can you go for Outrage if you get damage, you probably will take a couple of KOs early on, which is good. Thanks to Galarian, Zigzagoon, and Scoop Up Nets, you sometimes get KOs on the higher HP Pokemon. For instance, Rapid Strike Urshifu V, maybe an Eternatus. You just need some Galarian, Zigzagoon, and Scoop Up Nets to just make it happen. Double blaze for more damage than you would have figured, and donking people has been very easy with this list. You have Stellar Wish, you have Dedenne, you have Quick Balls, you have Cherish Balls, so sometimes finding Welder is the only issue with this list, but there's an additional Pokegear to just help you out. If you want to go for the full Blounce list, let's say you want 17 energies, then you can cut down on like Charizard and Heatran and maybe focus on more energies. Definitely interesting. I love the energy spinners, very crucial if you're going second. A lot of decks want to go first. Think about like LucMetal, think about stuff like ADP also wants to go first. So there are a lot of decks that want to go. Rapid Strike Urshifu V wants to go first. So that means Energy Spinner can come to its full right and a lot of matchups, and you can get a lot of energy. So yeah, definitely a great deck for sure. On the stuck in the middle, just because of the high amount of Marnie in the format, which can sometimes cripple this specific archetype. Then number 4, can you guess it? It's LucMetal. LucMetal is very good. Joshua Shadowlands is an insane LucMetal player that put LucMetal back on track. And LucMetal has the metal coating energies, has the option of Swell to get rid of Giant Hearts or Power Plants. You have the Power Plant to shut down Mewtwo. You have options available. With Goose Hollow, you can find the specific stadium of choice, while also finding the Cape of Toughness or Metal Goggles. Cape of Toughness is for the ADP matchup or other matchups that swing a lot of damage instantly. You have Metal Goggles to help yourself out. And yeah, with the full Metal Wall GX, this is the most defensive deck in the world. And with Melalonas, 2 of them in there, and Cynthia Catlin getting back your Melalana, you're gonna be having a good time for sure. What else can I say about this list is just you have the Zamazenta, very great against VMAX matchups, and this has probably the most favorable matchup against Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX, just because of the high defense, high healing capabilities, and the Zamazenta by itself. As mentioned, stuff like Eternatus are playing like Phoebe right now, so you should be worried a little bit. You cannot predict what they're going to be playing in those 8 tournaments with Players Cup 4 qualification going around, so there's no open deck list. But Zamazenta on its own is also a great strategy, as mentioned. And with 4 Zacian, Zacian is a very good attacker. Intrepid Sword, 230 seems to be sufficient with 3 copies of Boss and Cynthia Catlin getting back the Boss at specific times. You're gonna be fine. You can also hide behind a Lily's Pokédoll and hide it out while you're using Intrepid Sword, and out of nowhere you can get rid of energies with full Metal Wall GX. I think this is the way people prefer to play it. You could also add in the hammers, but they shove the hammers down the side, and this is the consistent variant you want to be focusing on. Okay, that was a mouthful. LucMetal is back on top. So lots of tag teams. You can see that Pokemon TCG just yeah, went all out with tag teams, and they're just busted, still seeing play. LucMetal, Mewtwo, there's more coming. So next up is going to be number 3, PikaRom. Solid bronze medal for PikaRom. PikaRom is saw a lot of play during the Players Cup 3. Now, nothing has changed too much except for us adding in the Stealthy Hoods, just because of the Mewtwo and the reliance on Mewtwo. Mewtwo can hit Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX, can hit opposing Mewtwo's for weakness, and that's going to be huge. And sometimes Mimikyu shuts this down. You always have to go for Boltund and then go for Electrify onto a Mewtwo. Well, they can just poke some damage onto your Mewtwo, slam down the Mimikyu with the Shadow Box ability from Cosmic Eclipse, and out of nowhere, your Mewtwo becomes useless, and that's why we have Stealthy Hood to turn Mewtwo back into its active position to slap more damage, and copying Full Blitz, Tag Bolt GX, Stamp, Tandem Shock is still a very huge win condition, so there's 3 copies of Stamp in here. That's very huge, and 4 copies of the Speed Lightning and 10 Lightning Energies. This is just a very consistent list with 4 Boltund. You're probably always going to start with it, and yeah, this is just a very great deck. This has crazy comeback potential like nothing you've ever seen. Stamp Tandem Shock or Stamp Full Blitz can be a game-winning scenario. I know you have to be afraid of the high amount of Mew being played in a lot of decks just because Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX is so dominant. That also counters your Tag Bolt GX a little bit, but I still think it's a great deck, and Crushing Hammers is the most annoying card in the world, but is helping you win out on matches just because if you put the opponent a turn behind, you can actually slap huge damage with the Full Blitz, survive, and if you survive after a Full Blitz and you're able to do it again, there's no way the opponent can come back from that. And if they do knock out a tag team and they knock out a Boltund, you can stand them easily to 1 prize card, and they're going to be crying in the corner when they just top deck a quick ball and they're not able to play it at all. Yeah, although yeah, you don't want them getting a quick ball. Let's say they get stamped to 1 card and they get an air balloon like oh, what am I doing? So that's something awesome, or maybe a basic energy. So very solid list, seems to be still in the format, doesn't go away. PikaRom 3rd slot. Then number 2 is it's going to be ADPization. Yeah, what can we say about this deck that hasn't been said before? Ultra Creation, boss, you win the game. This is probably the best and fastest way to win games for sure. You do have your Rusted Swords because of the high amount of tag teams in the format, so there's 2 copies of that in here. Only 1 copy of Energy Spinner gets me worried a little bit. There's 3 copies of Water Energy though, so I personally, in this specific list, now that I see it, cut down on 1 Swell and add in an extra Energy Spinner. So if you guys want to have extra consistency, that's the way you should go for it. Escape Rope and Switch, there's a debate whether the one is better than the other. I think 3-1 is good for these Escape Ropes. Escape Ropes saw a lot of play. You could also be playing something like Empoleon V in your list, but that was just to counter other VMAX archetypes out there. Not necessary anymore because Fire seems to be underrated right now, and also you added in Mew instead just to respect PikaRom as well as Rapid Strike Urshifu, which probably will be up later in the list. You probably would have guessed it already. You have your 4 copies of Boss's Orders, your copy of Great Catcher, so you gust all around. You have the Mawile to make sure the opponent slaps down 2 prize Pokemon. So your only concern is attach to ADP. It's up to the opponent. They're doing some funky stuff. You attach again, and then you Ultra Creation. By that time, you hopefully have some saucer action going around on your Zacians, and you're gonna have an awesome time. I also am a big fan of playing 4 copies of Zacian. This room doesn't seem to be having the room for it, so maybe cutting down on 1 Metal Energy is also not a bad idea, and adding in a 4th copy of Zacian in this list, and cutting down on 1 Swell and adding in an Energy Spinner would be my preferred way. This is a list we found over at Play.LimitlessTCG, so yeah, try it out for yourself. This is an easy to make deck by purchasing the League Battle deck, which you can do at PokedownStore.com. Then number 1, can you guess it already? Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX. Azul GG, fantastic player, won the Players Cup 4 with a very similar list, and I do love Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX. It's positioned in the meta right now. With the G-Max Rapid Flow, you can get multiple targets, lots of bench sitters around. There's the Dene, there's Crobat, you can get them for weakness while knocking out something else on the bench. You have your Galarian Zigzagoon to ping even some more damage counters. You have the Mimikyu to shut down Mewtwo, which seems to be one of your main weaknesses, psychic type weakness whatsoever. We also have Jirachi GX, you can slap that down, get rid of your weakness entirely. I know specific lists are running stuff like Power Plant. You can overlap that with Martial Arts Dojo, or yeah, that's gonna be bad for you if they hit for weakness. But on the other hand, Rapid Strike Urshifu is very fast. You go first, attach, the following turn you go for G-Max Rapid Flow instantly if you want to get multiple KOs, or just go for the Gale Thrust for 150. If you're behind in prize cards, the Gale Thrust goes to even to 190, enough to knock out stuff like the aforementioned Heatran GX. But this is a great list because you hit weakness against Eternatus, you hit weakness against PikaRom. They're both very great archetypes still in this top 10, and there's great things to love about this list. Also against stuff like Mad Party, sometimes you can just get their Synasties before they even evolve. Scoop up Net, Zigzagoon, scoop up Net, Zigzagoon, knocking out a Synasty, G-Max Rapid Flow, get rid of their entire board, you win the game. So a very great list. Team Yalgorn can put opponents back a turn, and with Scoop Up Net Mewtwo and Mind Report, you have some control with that. I know the list that Azul played did not play Mewtwo, but Mewtwo also allows you to reuse stuff like Cheryl. So crazy things to think about. If you're a fan of the Jirachi build, this is a list you should try out. If you are not a fan of the Jirachi build and want to go for the Chinchino build, just like Tord Ratcliffe, this should be also a very interesting list. With Capture Energy, you can get your Chinchinos in play easy as pie. You have, of course, Cheryl, Phoebe, so this list does have answers against the Decidueye. The other list takes the fat L against the Decidueye, so depends on your playstyle. This has Bird Keepers to switch around, and because you switch around and draw so many cards with Make Do and having the high amount of air balloons, you basically draw your entire list, and that means you can find bosses easily. You have Scoop Up Nets by your side as well, so you can reuse Mewtwo. You can go for the Zigzagoon Pinks, and because of course you draw so many cards with the Make Do, you can get of course your Karate Belt easily. I know it's a one-off, but you can find it because of the high amount of Make Do by your side. And you also have a Snorlax to hide behind, which is something that Tord also used. You can hide behind it, Gorman dies, and if they cannot KO the Snorlax, you're still ahead in the prize race. And because of Bird Keeper, you can get that Snorlax out of there, or Scoop Up Net, depending on what you want to do. Mewtwo GX seems to be a very crucial part. We are not running stuff like Jirachi GX. Instead, we just go for max consistency with Chinchino, Snorlax, and we have, of course, Marnie by our side and Bird Keeper. This is not running research, so you hang on to all of your resources, and with Cheryl and Mewtwo Scoop Up Net, you're gonna be having a fantastic time against decks that are not able to one-hit KO you. And their high amount of stamp, 2 copies of that, and Marnie's, which you can reuse with Mewtwo. This is also a very solid archetype. Anyhow, hopefully you guys enjoyed this top 10. That pretty much wraps it up. Select your favorite deck for Players Cup 4. Qualify. Hopefully you will qualify with either of these lists. If you are able to qualify and it's because of one of these lists, be sure to thank everybody in the community for creating these fantastic tournaments around, so we have some lists to base our top 10 on. Anyhow, have yourself a fantastic rest of your day. This was a quick video giving you guys an update on the best decks in format. Very great, solid archetypes for Players Cup 4. Hopefully I will qualify again myself. Cannot promise anything. I'm gonna do my best. We qualified for Players Cup 1, for Players Cup 2, for Players Cup 3, so hopefully the streak doesn't end here. We have 50 keys, 50 shots at it, and let's just hope. Also, I should give you guys some last minute tips. Be sure you don't play when you haven't slept. That's a very huge one, or you're gonna be making mistakes or misplays. Don't do that. Don't play a game instantly. Like, for say you see one of these decks, yeah, we're gonna be going instantly into a tournament, and you're probably gonna be making mistakes as well. Just get a couple of games in. I suggest like playing 5 games on the ladder with one of these lists if you want to be making that, and then playing with this list. If you're not comfortable with the list, be sure to play something you know best over a new list. That's also something I recommend. For me, that's going to be probably Blacephalon. I know Blacephalon by heart, so I know there's a lot of temptation out there because, oh, Rapid Strike, the new fantastic VMAX on the block. Stick to what you know. Stick to your PikaRoms, stick to your Mad Party, your Blount, whatever you played a lot of games with already, and you're probably going to be doing, you're going to get better results with this over playing a new deck because you have so much experience with those other decks. Also, be sure to check out the meta. Have some stock list up on your computer so you can see, oh, I'm up against a Blacephalon deck. Open a standard Blacephalon list so you already have a little bit of an idea of what they specifically play. I know this out of my head, but sometimes like lists like these are new. You don't know them. Be sure to save some of these lists. So if you're up against some of these lists, you might think, oh, I'm up against the Decidueye. I think they probably are playing 2 Melolana. They already played one, so what could happen? Are they playing reset stamps, specific PikaRom list? How many could they play? These are all great tips and tricks for you guys. So for instance, you're up against PikaRom, you know that they're going to be playing Hammer. You know that they might potentially have Stealthy Hood, and they have reset stamps, so be careful of the reset stamps. For up against like LucMetal, you're up against LucMetal, they could be either playing Chaotic Spell or Power Plant. It's the little things like that, so you are prepared a little bit. This also can turn itself into an unpredictable metal just because of the fact you don't have the open deck list, but if you already have a little bit of an idea of what the archetypes look like, you're gonna have an edge. For instance, you're up against Madper, you know Giovanni's Exile is in their discard pile, as well as Palpat, you know, oh, that means I can now be rest assured that I can gust up these 2 prize Pokemon on the bench. So that's going to be awesome for you. Also, you can think about, oh, they got rid of their Ordinary Rod. There's a lot of Mad Parties in the discard pile. Oh, they don't have any other attackers left. If I knock this guy out, that's going to be awesome. They could be bringing 2 Ordinary Rods. You don't know that, but this is our stock list. This is the list that people are most comfortable with. Same scenario. I actually lost the game with Mad Party once because I was running low on 1 energy and there was 1 prize. So be careful. Check out your prize cards as well. That's also very crucial if you're playing. These are high stakes because you use tournament keys. If you're using them, you cannot ever get them back. So For instance, Wanderer's Labyrinth is a card you should be familiar with if you're up against Mewtwo Rillaboom. So be sure to study some of these lists, play 5 games with a deck you want to be playing with, and then start grinding those keys. If you feel like, I'm not getting the results I wanted, be sure to play at a different time, because the decks you might be up against in a different time might be different. Like, let's say you're always in the same pool with LucMetals every single time, and you are playing, let's say, Eternatus. You're gonna say like, I cannot even get the one at KO, my Phoebe is always prized and all that. Maybe you just have to wait a little bit, sleep over it, maybe the next day, play again, and you probably will see other decks. I rest assured that's gonna happen. Maybe you don't get any wins at all. Maybe it's time for you to change up a deck. Maybe you're making too many misplays. Change your deck up around. Maybe you play different decks throughout, like say you play 2 games with Blounce, 2 games with ADP. I do suggest sticking with the same deck over and over again for all of your keys, unless you lose like 4 in a row in the first couple of things and you say like, ooh, there's something wrong, I am making too many misplays, then you can change. But if you play all of them, you will improve the game strategy of your specific deck. Anyhow, hopefully you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to mouse that like button. It helps out the channel more than you would possibly think. Consider subscribing if you want to see daily Pokemon TCG content like this, and also go check out our sponsors, PoketownStore.com, the best place to get yourself some TCGO code cards. You can use the coupon code ZapDoseTCG for 5% off. They have LucMetal codes, they have Eternatus codes, they have whatever you need, Reshazard codes. What else? Let me just see here. We have codes for Reshazard in this specific case. You have codes for Eternatus. You can get the Mad Party Fancy Shiny promos, actually the alternate art promos. You can get yourself MewMew codes. There's so many codes over at PoketownStore.com, so yeah, at least we'll find something you need for your deck. If not, you can get yourself some booster packs to just trade for the stuff you need anyhow. Also check out cardmarket.com, the best place for European players to buy and sell cards to people all across Europe. And that's it for this video. I'll leave you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow with more Pokemon TCG action. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys then. Peace!